Okay, so luckily I was able to hear a grinding noise as the furnace exhaust fan was actually striking something. It was actually these parts that were striking. I thought it was this part that was striking, but it was these ribs, strengthening ribs, that were hitting something. And also when I took this off, I noticed that this was just kind of like that. You know, it was on, but it was also, I guess, kind of sort of off. It sits on this button. It looks like it's kind of glued on. I'm not sure what to think about this. I might have to order a new one, because it just kind of came off when I was monkeying with it just now. But the real trouble is that there is corroded rust from these, I guess they're nuts. They look like nuts. You know, some kind of screw goes in there. Some kind of screw. Some kind of fastener of some kind comes through the motor and attaches to this blower housing. And these particles of rust, this junk, this protective rubber, or whatever, I think it's rubber, feels like rubber, came off of these two. Yeah. And it was striking here. So these were getting, as you can see, it's a little chewed up. And actually jammed where it wasn't moving, and I could hear the and I could felt the motor was hot. I just like flipped off the switch and started taking stuff apart here. It's about 1 o'clock in the morning on a work night, and it's 32 degrees in the forecast tonight. I think today is September 9th. So I'm going to try to clean this up, or get this, use my pick to try to chew some of this out of here, and then slap this thing back together for tonight. And I'll probably look into this situation a bit more in the morning. So I cleaned up these holes, scratched them up best I could. I could probably keep going on these things, but you know, if you keep going, you might break them out, break them loose, you know. Looks like they probably just need whole new fasteners. They might just be tiny little nuts that go over these studs, and they have little covers on them, and the covers are old, you know. Nothing lasts forever. So I'm going to put some high temperature Permatex RTV silicone in these holes. Okay, so there's the high temperature red RTV filling in the holes to hopefully take care of the issue, at least for right now. I think I need to get a new blower plate, or maybe just a whole new setup here, because those things looked pretty rusty, and I just went over these ones because they had some dry cracks in them. Not exactly sure how to repair those things when they get that rusty. I don't know if the shafts that they're connected to inside of here, looks like there's 3 or 4 of them, they're inside of here, and I don't know if there's a way to replace that shaft that's in there, or if you just gotta give up on it and replace it, because this has a housing. This is metal, this is plastic. So I'm gonna put it back together now, worry about it later. The turbine is held on by a spring, which you have to bend out of round to take off. You got to put a pick in there and work it off. And so you hone it wider when you do that, which is kind of an irritating thing. So you have to take a couple of pliers and reverse it so it's tight again. And then you have to gently work it on over the split plastic piece of the turbine. And then just get it on there over that lip. There's a lip. Probably can't tell. It's hard to tell. But there's a lip on there. And then it has a little cap. Little rubber dust cap or whatever that goes on. It is possible to push the turbine too far down on the shaft where it will automatically collide those back rib pieces, rib sections that are in the back of the turbine. They will run into the housing, so you don't want to push it on too far. The spring kind of maintains a certain tension that allows you to put it on but not all the way down. But there's no stop on the back of the shaft. It's just a straight shaft without a stop on it. A stop collar type of thing. These connections seem to have like a butyl rubber, like this screw that kind of helps this flange hold together. Here, there's a screw that goes through here into the PVC, and it's got this butyl rubber on it to kind of seal things up. I flipped the switch, it's on, and okay. It's kind of loud. But it's working, but it's loud. Well, the only thing I can do is to take it off again and try again. I might have pushed the fan on or the turbine on too far, or left it on too far out. It's either too far on or too far out. And wow, it's really loud. Also, it's definitely the turbine. Alright, it's got to be pushing 2 a.m. I took this thing apart, cleaned it, put our TV on it like we discussed, and it's humming pretty loud. I think when those rusty debris fell out of those receptacles and got in the way of the fan, and I heard the solid hum, the motor must have burned out, because I could feel the heat from back here from this motor. So I think that the motor's working, but it might be burned out. I'll probably just end up ordering a new unit. I can't believe this costs so much money. It's probably really cheap. So I guess it is what it is for right now.